from Washington, this is VOA News. Dim hopes for a breakthrough in Syrian peace talks. A big search for a potential suicide bomber at the upcoming Sochi Winter Olympics. I'm Ray Kouguell reporting from Washington. Russia and Iran criticized the UN chief's withdrawal of Tehran's invitation to a long-awaited peace conference on Syria. As delegates are arriving in Switzerland for talks few believe can succeed. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov called UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon's last-minute decision to bar Iran from the talks a mistake, but not a disaster. In Tehran, Iran's foreign ministry sharply criticized Mr. Ban's diplomatic turnaround, saying he only did so under immense pressure. The talks are scheduled to begin today. Human Rights Watch is sharply criticizing the international community for failing to protect ordinary Syrians from abuses by the regime of President Bashar al-Assad. Lisa Bryant reports.
Human Rights Watch's executive director, Kenneth Roth, says the world community must respond forcefully to mass atrocities committed by the Syrian regime and find ways to unblock humanitarian aid into the country.
Atrocities in Syria are not an unfortunate byproduct of the war. They are the way the Syrian government has chosen to fight this war. This is a war strategy of war crimes, aimed at making life as miserable as possible for civilians in opposition-held areas.
Roth spoke at a news conference in Berlin at the release of HRW's 2014 World Report. Lisa Bryant for VOA News, Paris.
4 people were killed by a suicide bomber who detonated his vehicle on a busy thoroughfare in Beirut's mostly Shiite southern suburbs. Edward Uranian has details.
A security camera on a building not far from the explosion showed a 4-wheel drive vehicle blowing up amid traffic in the busy Beirut suburb of Hart Hareik. Gunfire erupted briefly as rescue workers tried to evacuate victims of the blast from damaged residential buildings and gutted vehicles. Casualties were taken to nearby hospitals as security forces combed the area for details of the bombing. Edward Uranian for VOA News, Cairo.
The Pakistani Air Force attacked suspected militant hideouts near the Afghan border, killing dozens of people and sending civilians fleeing. Pakistani military sources say their airstrikes in the troubled North Waziristan province Tuesday killed 40 people, all militants. In Baluchistan, police say a bomb exploded near a bus carrying Shiite Muslim pilgrims to the city of Quetta, killing at least 20 people. The pilgrims are returning from a trip to Iran. A new report by a London-based organization says there is a sharp decline in confirmed civilian casualties by U.S. drone strikes in Pakistan. The Bureau of Investigative Journalism says that in 2013, 27 suspected drone strikes occurred in Pakistan. That was the lowest number since President Obama took office 5 years ago. The Pakistani government condemns drone strikes, calling them a violation of its sovereignty. Russian police are on the hunt for a potential female suicide bomber in the Black Sea resort city of Sochi, where the Winter Olympics begin next month. The female suspect is said to be the 22-year-old widow of an Islamic militant from the predominantly Muslim region of Dagestan. The Associated Press reports police are also searching for 2 other women suspected of being possible suicide bombers. Russian officials blame the so-called Black Widows of slain insurgents for previous suicide attacks in the country. The International Monetary Fund is predicting the world economy will advance at a faster pace this year. IMF Economic Counselor Olivier Blanchard says that the global economy will grow by 3.7% this year, up from last year's 3% rise. He also says the world's financial systems are slowly healing as uncertainty decreases.
Basic reason behind the stronger recovery is that the brakes to the recovery are progressively being loosened. The drag from fiscal consolidation is diminishing, the financial system is slowly healing, and uncertainty in various dimensions is decreasing.
Mr. Bashar says the global recovery overall, however, is weak and uneven. China announced plans to start regular civilian patrols of the disputed South China Sea, a move that could further escalate tensions in the region. The area is a site of territorial disputes between China and 4 ASEAN nations, including Vietnam. I'm Ray Kouguell, VOA News.